We're back in the house. Here again, A2D Radio, which is the best platform to be on in terms of particularly Philly sports and a focus on the Eagles. And this is Vetted, where we're the best. Irving, Fryar, and Big Dog Hollis Thomas right there.
Yes.
Before we get into the show today, Big Dog, holla at the people.
Well, let's pay a few bills here. Started with Royal Billiards. It's been in business since 1982. This is this is going into the 42nd year of serving the better Delaware area for your ultimate. It's actually the ultimate place for your man cave and game room desires. They have things like pool tables, shuffleboards, bars, and kitchen stools. Obviously, the throne that I continue to talk about, and I will not stop talking about it until I get it. They also have bars and bar tables. And let's not forget the hot tubs. If you had a nice long day and you want to come home and relax and let the just melt you, just massage you to pieces and make you become one with yourself. Pause. And let's not forget the video games. You can find all this at 515 Bethlehem Pike, Coldwater, Pennsylvania, 18915. Again, that's 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmore, Pennsylvania, 18915, or go on to royalbilliards.com and tell Marty I said what's up. Take Marty some treats because the Mardi Gras is coming up, so his time is coming. And go out there and have a little bit of fun and tell him you heard it here on A2D Radio. You heard it from the tank.
Mardi Gras, huh?
Yes, that's what he named after.
And if you don't take him treats, he's going to growl. So it'll be Mardi Gras. And don't forget about Carlino's. Listen, you can find Carlino's on County Line Road in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. All you got to do is go to County Line Road and ask anybody, where's Carlino's, the Italian market. They'll be able to tell you. They've been in business now for 41 years. Yes, it's a family-owned business. Started out in 1983 with Mama Carlino and her husband, Nicola, and now it's being run by the family, Pat and Angela. It's an Italian market. They've got all kinds of Italian cuisine, yes, sourcing and importing high-quality Italian products, many of which are not yet here in the United States. If you want to find it, Italian meats, pastas, sauces, wines. There's not Italian without wine. You got to go to Carlino's. They treat everybody like they're somebody. County Line Road in Ardmore. If you can't find it, go to County Line Road in Ardmore and ask somebody for Carlino's. They'll be able to point you right to it. Carlino's.
Yes.
All right. We got a bunch of stuff going on. And as we talked about a little bit while we were off air, all of the transitions that are taking place and you're going to talk a little bit about some of it. All the transitions that are taking place with new head coaches across the NFL. It always happens this time of the year when the season is over. Everybody's trying to make new changes and improve their chances of getting to what is the championship. The promised land. This point in the season when we got the NFC and the AFC championship games being played this weekend, and the winners of those games get to play in the Super Bowl.
How many AFC championships you played in? 2?
AFC championships? No, I only played in one AFC championship.
Okay, with
the one conference championship that I played in, we ended up winning and going to the Super Bowl and getting smoked. Got smoked.
Oh yeah.
Don't bring up old stuff now.
I'm not gonna bring up old stuff.
That was a painful situation.
No. Hey, as we get started here, I've been receiving messages and questions throughout the week about Nick Sirianni's press conference. And I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead. Well, I think a lot of us are being nitpicky because of what he said. He didn't say nothing but the truth. You can't be the coach like when you remember when me and you were coaching. It's a little different because we were coaching high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you had an offense coordinator and I was a defense coordinator.
Right.
But you paid attention to the entire team.
Right.
And we inundated your culture, your vision and what you saw.
Right.
Now, if you were just over there pussyfooting around with the offense all the time and never paying attention to who could play defense or anything, you wouldn't know nothing. You wouldn't be able to coach the whole team. Or say you the main play caller and you over there doing something offensively while the defense is on the field and we may need the challenge flag.
Right.
and then you know it's like, and then people, I guess that answer wasn't good enough for some people, because they was like, oh, it sounds like he contradicted himself. It's like, no, he's going to be the head coach.
Right.
What the head coach do, I don't know why we can't. It's like, if some teams do this and they rarely win when the head coach is calling one side of the ball.
Yeah,
you rarely get that. It's like because the head coach has got to be in tune with everybody.
He's got to manage the game.
Yeah, and then the other part too was I just equated it to when you coaching somebody, you kind of have an impartialness to them. It's kind of like, a lot of people don't know, we were about to play the Giants 1 week, and Donovan and my boy Bobby Taylor showed up late to walkthrough. They set Bobby Taylor for the first half and set Donovan for the first play.
So there it depends on how valuable you are to the team.
Bobby was the starting corner.
Yeah. Oh no, Bobby was valuable for sure.
Yeah, Bobby was the starting corner, but it's like, but when you look at it,
but everybody's not the same on the team.
Yeah, but when you're the head coach, you better make sure that, because when he's not doing his job, everybody's gonna start looking at you. Right. That's like, because you're holding us accountable. That's how you lose the locker room. When you start playing favorites, right? That's why. That's when you're not. Those are coach firers.
But you know what, I think a part of the reason why, as you said, people were being real nitpicky and examining every word and how he said it and his body language and what they look like and all that kind of stuff is because in a lot of the polls, the majority of the people who voted in the polls thought Sirianni should lose his job, thought he should have lost his job. They blamed him for the slide at the end of the season, and a lot of people thought that he should have gotten fired along with the rest, the OC and the defensive coordinator, that Sirianni should have been gone with them. Right. So I think that's a lot of why people were nitpicking at what was going on. But myself.
No, you said you thought he should go,
I thought he should go for sure.
But see, the only reason I would have said that he would leave, if he didn't go in there and say, look, we need to change some coaches. We need to get some better coaches in here, because what we had there, he couldn't be just a head coach, because everybody's talking about, what's Nick Sirianni's offense? How come he doesn't take over and call the plays? Because when you build a team, you're entrusting guys. You're putting guys in command, like crew chiefs.
Well, that's why he's called the offensive coordinator. That's why he's called the defensive coordinator, because they're the ones that are supposed to be calling the plays offensively and defensively. Now, when I listened to the interview, man, for some reason, and maybe people feel the same way I did or do. Yeah. For me, there was something fugazi about the whole thing. In that, and they just don't show their hand to everybody. There's always something going on behind the scenes that they're not going to reveal and not going to expose themselves to the press or to the fans. And there was just the hint of that. In that, there was something.
Did you feel like he was trying to do this?
There was something not right about, or not totally truthful about what they were saying, because he was, Sirianni stutters a lot anyway. He's always saying, Well, no, we don't know, coach. Right. That's why we're asking you the questions, because and we want you to tell us.
Well, the funny thing about it is that, when I don't think they're allowing him to be himself, because he was being, when he first got here, he was being himself, and he was, of course, snarky and going back and forth. But I think he's been humbled by the collapse in which the way we collapsed. And I see a guy who's trying to lick his wounds and get through this mess and reboot. Because what can you say about an epic collapse? I can't. There's no excuse.
Well, you know what? I can make. He's to me, my opinion is he's going to comply. I think he's happy that he still has a job right now, and he's going to comply, because if he doesn't, he would have been gone like Doug Peterson. Right. And this year, he's coaching for his job this year. His behind is on the line this year. If they, for some reason, don't make the playoffs, or if there's a slide like it was this past season, he's gone immediately, if not before the season is over. So he's in compliance right now, and he's kind of like a puppet right now, because he has got to do what Lori says do, what
That's the boss.
That's the boss. He's got to do what they say do. Howie Roseman, listen, you're going to do what we say do. Otherwise, you're gone. We're going to get rid of the offensive coordinator. We're going to get rid of the defensive coordinator, which is an obvious thing that needed to be done. And we're going to bring in here someone who we want in here, who's going to call the plays offensively and defensively and do things at a better level and accomplish more than what got accomplished this past year. Because again, they recognize, as I've been saying, they got a window. You know, the offense hopefully will stay intact pretty much again this coming year, this season. And put up the agree to disagree there, Ralph.
Let's agree to disagree.
Watch what it says. It says it won't matter what defensive coordinator the Eagles hire if they don't get the right players at linebacker and defensive back. It won't matter.
You know why it will matter? You know why it will matter?
They just hired Fangio, right?
I know, but even with that, it's like it's certain coordinators that know how to get the best out of what he has.
Yeah, but if they don't have the talent, they lack talent on defense.
I don't know if you remember when Emmett Thomas was here, dude. We had a defense to where I dropped to the deep third, to hide deficiencies that we had at certain positions because a lot of people had got hurt. We had a defense called Overmob Zone Net, and me and Dawkins switched responsibilities.
Well, that was good because both of you. Well, I don't know if you could cover or not. Could you cover a wide receiver or tight end?
No, I could jam the crap out of them and on the Texas route for a hot second. I mean, I've tackled everybody from Chris Carter to Randy Moss to Jerry. I've tackled everybody, but they was doing crossing routes, and they tried to, as they was doing the crossing route, you break out the pack. I come out the pack hunting.
Well, it's tough to avoid you, bro. You're a big body, so you got to make a big detour to get by you.
but I say that to say that we have certain. Like you have certain coaches that get the best out of their players because they put them in the best position of what they do best. It's like with Vic Fangio, you're not gonna see Smith or Hassan Reddick dropping.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Never.
It's like when you have what we have, dude, we could have. It was so just like right there. And I know you probably don't even remember some of the defenses that I had where I just took 3 tackles. And the rest of it was DBs and linebackers, and you have to give them responsibility. That's why when Bill Belichick's talking about do your job, you give the guys responsibility. What we saw the last 6 weeks defensively is guys who were unsure and did not believe in what they were doing. When you're unsure, you hesitate. He who hesitates masturbates. It's all I got that from Jim Johnson.
Well, that's one of the reasons because they changed defensive coordinators. Halfway through the season, which was ridiculous. And Patricia came in and changed stuff up. And of course, they had no clue, and it was obvious. You got defensive backs running into each other. Yeah, they obviously don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and speaking of not knowing what we're doing,
I got
you got a paper read about one of the hats that I'm donning right now.
Is that one of the hats you're donning right now? Y'all check Big Dog out because that's a hat from hats.com. Yeah, hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more. Yep, with designs for every style and every trend, every style and every trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics. I don't know how fanatic they are right now, but I'm sure they're loyal, so they'll still be fanatics next year when the season starts. Hats.com can help you elevate your hat, John. Yeah, utilize the easy-to-use guides at hats.com to find your perfect size and style. Shipping and returns, guess what? They're free. You don't find that too often. That's a good deal. Awesome sauce. Yeah. Yes. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com. That's my read.
Oh, yeah, that's your read.
So talk to us about Vic Fangio because we just let a guy go, decide who's a Vic Fangio disciple. Yep. And we last year, Jonathan Gannon, Vic Fangio disciple. Fangio goes down. And I guess they were trying to get him last year, but because Jonathan Gannon jacked everything up, they couldn't get him. He goes down to Miami, and he's only down there for a year. A lot of injuries, injuries defensively for Miami, but they were still, they were 10th in yards allowed and 22nd in points given up during the season. They were 3rd in sacks with 56 sacks and tied for 8th in forced turnovers with 27. So he didn't do a real bad job down there, even though he was put in a tough situation. Jalen Ramsey went down, the edge rushers, Phillips, Chubb, and Ginkle, they all went down.
Xavier Howard was down for long periods throughout the season. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's what I was trying to convey to you. It's like, it's certain coaches get the best out of you, dude. It's like certain coaches know how to get to you and know how to put you in position. And once you put you in position to win, the thing that pissed me off so much this year is I'm seeing guys with tremendous athletic ability just not given the opportunity to win. And when you don't see any success, you get distraught and your confidence is gone.
Right.
And then that bully that you used to be, you're not that bully no more. You turn from super into mortal.
So would you have liked to have seen maybe a different coordinator, or are you pleased with Vic Fangio? Because it's kind of more of this, although they're disciples of Nick's defense, you got the guy who implemented defense, who taught them. But it's still more of the same thing.
Okay, so there's a Dominique Wilkins and there's a Gerald Wilkins. Mm-hmm. There's a Joe DiMaggio and a Bill DiMaggio.
Right.
Jason and a Jason and a Jeremy Giambi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, but I'm asking you a question. Is this
Michael
cool?
Jackson's cousin?
You think he's going to come in here and do a great job? I mean, you disagree with the agree or disagree question.
I disagree with the question because I think he'll get a lot more out of the guys than the previous guys, because you saw what he did when he went down there to Miami. Yeah, because Miami they still had they moved up. Put it this way: would you rather have a 10th ranked defense this year?
Oh, for sure. if the Eagles defense was ranked 10th in the NFL this year, and the offense did what it was supposed to do, I think it's real important we get a competent offensive coordinator. But I think the Eagles would have might be playing still right now.
Yeah, and the thing that I do like, I did like what he said when the offense got stale.
It was stale. It was stale and stagnant.
Yeah, he said, and that's what he said. He said stale and stagnant. So he said we need a fresh set of eyes to get some fresh looks in there. And I was laughing too. I was like, it really got stagnant because the guy who you had calling was just calling just a bunch of bullshit. If you want to be perfectly honest,
it was bad. I mean, it was noticeably bad, and noticeably bad not from football fans, but people who aren't normally football fans. They were like, what in the world are the Eagles doing?
Yeah. It's like when other people who are really not what they call experts or just don't watch football, it's like that don't even look right.
Yeah, and then when you have offensive players from other teams who are studying defenses because they have to play against defenses, when they're able to call out and say, "Oh, they're getting ready to run this, or they're getting ready to run that, or this is what they do when they run this." On live TV, that's a problem.
That was embarrassing.
That's a big problem. So
that was embarrassing.
I don't know who they're going to bring in. I mean, obviously we have he just signed with them, according to you. He just Fangio just signed his deal, so he's here in Philadelphia with the Eagles. He's going to be the defensive coordinator for 2024 season. Who do you think they're going to bring in for the offensive coordinator? Who would you like to see?
I'd like to see Frank. Right.
Really? Everybody keeps mentioning him. To me, it's not going backwards, so to speak. But again, it's another one of those more of the same kind of thing. I really would like to see. And I said this before, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to see Eric Bieniemy come in here.
I would like to see that too. Also, they interviewed Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay.
Because he was at USC last year.
Right,
but I know a couple of teams that had interviewed him. I don't think he's the head coach, but I think he's a decent offense coordinator.
I don't think they need to bring someone in who, like, he's coming out of college and he's doing it in the NFL for the first time. I don't think they need someone like that. They need someone like Vic Fangio, who's done it before. He's got years of experience.
No, Cliff was the head coach of Arizona.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then, yeah, boy, it's like one of those things where he was doing good as an offensive coordinator.
Right. But what has Arizona done? Look at Bieniemy's record. You know,
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I would love to bring Bieniemy in there. Now he's I guess he's not going to be back in Washington.
No, I don't think so. And he's not, he's not applying, so to speak, for a head coaching job, because I think that's out of the question for him right now because of what happened down in with the Commanders this year and their record and all of that. So he's going to be looking for a offensive coordinator job. Yeah,
which brings you to Bill Belichick should be looking for a coordinator's job as well.
Yeah,
some people talk about you should just give it. I said, get the hell out of here. He hasn't been to the playoffs in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and again, I said before, I don't think he can be a head coach in this generation of athletes. I think he lost his connection with them before Brady left, because I think Brady was the one that was holding that team together. Brady was the one that was communicating with the team and keeping them on the same page. And Belichick was just doing the X's and the O's. And that's what I think he should be, like you. That's what he should be doing now. He needs to recognize that the head coaching as far as his capacity or being able to handle that with today's athlete, there's a big gap. Yeah. And he's shooting and missing.
But the one person that's still available is like Pete Carroll as well. I think he'll get a job before him because he still is full energetic and stuff, and he still has teams that come out and fight for him and win.
But you hire him as a head coach. You hire Carroll as a head coach because he is definitely a likable guy. He's definitely a motivator. He's definitely one that can establish, as everybody talks about. I don't know where they start this culture thing. When did this culture thing come into football, man?
What is that?
What is the culture? What are you talking about?
I've heard them often talk about the building of culture. It's kind of like what they used to do. Like they had a culture at the University of Nebraska. They had a culture down in Florida. They call Florida State Free Shoes University.
The culture was a winning culture. That's what culture you want to build. Yeah, you mean get your behind in the game and, like you said, do your job and we'll win games. That's the culture that they're talking about, relationships and
build a bully.
Being emotionally connected and psychologically collect. Man, forget all that. Get your behind on the field. Say it for me. Get your
ass on the field and do your job. And then it's like the funniest thing too is like I think we're coddling the guys too much just in general. Instead of just like you said, it's like I've seen too many people just get jobs handed to them, and then like what do you expect when they're surprised when somebody's playing better than them and you bench them? They're surprised they're getting benched. You're sticking up the joint,
and then they get an attitude because they get benched.
Yeah, and then now it's the coach's fault.
Rather than get on the field and practice harder and do better, and then you'll get in the game and be an asset rather than a liability to the team. So let me ask you this, because this has been talked about briefly as well. Do you think now that things have happened the way they've happened, and they go and they reevaluate and assess what were some of the issues and what were some of the problems that actually were the foundation of the fall that the Eagles took in the latter part of the season, you think they'll go back and they'll restructure how they practice and how much they practice and what they do in practice?
I think they'll, because they were winning, if practice may be a little harder. I think practice, and it should be a little harder. But I think the other thing too is I think they're going to go out and put competition at every position. That's the next phase. The next phase, once you get through all this coaching crap, there's like, and I call it crap because if you don't bring a good linebacker and a good safety in there, a good linebacker or two and a good safety here, you don't draft those positions well. You're looking at some of the same crap. And
I just told you that. That's what I just said.
But I'm just saying, Big Fangio can only do so much of what you give him.
That's what I'm saying. It don't matter what coordinator you get if you don't put the right pieces on the board. You can forget about it.
I know, but at a certain point, there's not enough X's and O's in the world to mask no talent.
That's what I just got finished saying, big dog.
Okay, you were right.
Those are the areas in the offseason. And again, offensively, the Eagles are pretty solid. They're still pretty solid offensively, even if, Kelsey retires, with Cam Jurgens, he took over for a while there at center, played a lot in preseason and I thought did a good job. Actually, he looked a little bit like Kelsey running up and down the doggone field and getting to the second level. I'm talking about in terms of his production on the field. He kind of looked like he learned and was really, excelling because of his connection with Kelsey. So even if Kelsey goes and retires, and has he made up his mind whether or not he's going to retire yet? Has he announced?
I'm not officially? He hadn't done it officially. Everybody's like, he told everybody nothing.
Okay, because
everybody's talking about, he told his teammates that he was retired. No, he didn't. And
I think whatever it was he said. Well, I think whatever it was he said to.
I'm not going to say what he said.
Well, whatever it was he said to the team, it was right after the game. So I believe that was kind of out of emotion rather than logic and reason. It was an emotional time.
I think people just started reading it to him crying and everybody hugging each other and crying.
That's what we do. That's
what we do. Because at the end of the season, you didn't want it to end, and you didn't want it to end the way it ended. Right, so I don't think he said anything. I think they just started speculating.
I don't know I know he said something. I don't think he said what they said he said, but I think he said something, like I said, out of emotion. We got another bill we got to pay.
We got a bill we got to pay right quick.
Yeah, got another bill. Go ahead, Ralph.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, grazie mille. I gotta remember to say that at the end of my read. I have no idea what it means.
Probably shouldn't be saying it.
It's probably good. She says it at the end.
Yeah, but now I was somebody just Joseph mentioned something down about
Joseph Fisher. I got tired of hearing. We're going to fix this thing. Is that one? That's the one.
Yeah, that's one of them. But he's talking about Hurts is on Fraud Watch. The only person that's on Fraud Watch is everybody for trying to change the way that he conducts himself. Everybody still wants this rah-rah guy. He's not that guy. He hasn't changed since last year. They're trying to build a mountain out of a molehill, and it's not even. The funniest part is like, what the hell are y'all trying to get? Y'all mad because you can't get a rise out the kid?
But you know what? And I can identify with him directly. Yes, I mean there were points during that slide that I would, that I felt in the body language, in the lack of action or response to some of the players. I kind of felt like, okay, they don't care maybe. But with Jalen Hurts, he's just a stoic guy. He's that way. And I am that way as well. When things start getting tough, whether it's on the football field, whether it was, whether it's in my personal life, when things start getting tough and they're not going the right way, I get calmer. I get more stoic because I want to stay under control. So what happened with Jalen, particularly the latter part of the slide, was, man, they didn't have offensively, they were way completely out of sync, and they didn't have any answers for what defenses were doing, what defenses were presenting, what defenses were throwing at the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles. And Jalen knew that, and certain plays were being called, and he knew, he didn't have an answer for it, and it put him in a position to fail.
Yeah.
And that's why the offense was so stale and stagnant. And when you're at the line of scrimmage, like I said last week, I believe, when you're at the line of scrimmage and you know a blitz is coming, but you know there's a guy that's going to be free and you don't have an answer for it, and you got to hold on to the ball. Hopefully somebody comes open, but you got to wait. That's a problem. And that can wear on you, man. And that can cause you to begin to do things that you don't normally do. And it can cause you to shell up. It will cause him to shell up. And maybe he did become even more stoic. Maybe he did become even less emotional. But that's Jalen Hurts. You're not going to get him to cuss. You're not going to see him throwing a helmet. You're not going to see him kicking the water jug over.
I'm laughing at Joseph because he's holding on to the ball as long as he doesn't get rid of it. You can't get rid of the ball, Joseph, if the receivers are running with their back.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. Hold on to the ball. He didn't have a choice.
The whole film. That's why I be telling folks: if you go chop, bump your guns and pop your chops. Make sure you pay attention to the whole film. It's like, it's one of those things where you have to.
But also understand this. I think this had something to do with it too, because he had a personal connection with the one who was calling the plays. Yeah, he had a personal connection with the one who was calling the plays. Yeah, so now that's even more of a problem. Yeah, man, what you doing, man?
What you doing to me?
Right.
It's like if you like, I watched Utah because I used to love when Utah they feed everybody a nice big poop sandwich when they beat some of the bigger teams and stuff. But Brian Johnson was the offensive coordinator there. I see the same stuff that when they became stagnant and stale, and the other team stayed in the game and eventually kicked their ass. It was because he was doing stuff like this, like they said, there was no underneath routes at all. Right. I was like that. I was looking, and I've told people this same story a couple of times. And watching, go watch the Indianapolis Colts with Shane Steichen. You see routes develop. People like, oh, they used to be us. It's like you see the underneath routes that gets the attention of the defense, and then they're being nosy down here, and right across the back is somebody running by themselves. You see the same creativity in with the Houston Texans offense. Mm-hmm. It's like they give you all the bells and whistles up front because you want to give the defense something to do and something to look at. You want to, and if you don't give them any bells and whistles, and they could dictate to you where you can and can't go with the ball, you're gonna lose. What's going to happen to you is what happened to us throughout the season, and we didn't have the wherewithal to change anything. We didn't have any blitz. The blitz is coming. No guy sighted Jess. You didn't see none of the receivers or anybody was communicating with Jalen about what they saw out there. That's not a team. That's just the people listening to what a college offense coordinator is calling and just going with it. It's kind of like I was waiting for them to look to the sideline. You know how in college they do when they come out and they let the defense move around.
And then look to the sidelines. Yeah, what we're gonna do now? For. Yeah, what we're gonna do now?
That's what they did in Utah. That's what I was looking. I was like, man, come on, we got it. We have to do better. And I feel like we will do better.
But what we saw and what we keep talking about, we keep reiterating and telling people, the fans that and the watchers, that there was no answer for the blitz. That's not to come up or have an answer for the blitz. Everybody in the league does that. Everybody in college football does that. Every offensive coordinator has sight adjust, has blitz routes, has break-off routes. And it's not something that's complicated to do. That's what is so baffling to me. Yes, they didn't have an answer for the blitz, but that's not a hard thing to implement into your offensive plays.
Somebody just said something that one of your pet peeves throughout the entire season. What Joseph said.
What did he say? Right there. I got tired of what I didn't see. Let me see.
Also very few motion plays to keep the defense.
Oh, motion,
honest. It's freaking ridiculous. Well, you said that no, they did no shifts, no motions. No, and then you just kind of lined up. And I see Mike talking about something. It's called the audible. If you don't have audibles, Mike, you don't understand what we said. If you don't have audibles, then what the hell?
We don't know how much control. We don't know how much freedom Jalen has to audible or had to audible during a game. We know he had options in the RPOs, whether to hand the ball off, but that was based on what he read with the defense. He didn't always read it right, but he had an option. Now, we don't know how much freedom he had to change plays. He's not Dan Marino. He's not, one of those quarterbacks or Peyton Manning where they come up and they know the playbook, and they just call what they see on the field. They didn't. No, he's third-year quarterback. He didn't have that kind of freedom. He didn't have that kind of experience. Yeah. So a lot of what he was doing it dependent upon what was being called from the sidelines. Ooh. And over time, when that kind of stuff keeps happening and you getting your behind hit, guess what?
You're gonna start calling audible.
You're gonna start doing something. Something.
That's like, but the other part too is it's like, and I was like, it goes back to what Joseph in the comments was saying about. It's like when he scrambled last year, when he scrambled, you saw guys getting into open areas. This year when he scrambled, everybody was turning to damn spectators. I'm like, dude, what the hell are y'all doing? Get to an open area. You're a receiver. Get to an open area.
But you know what? That's something. Again, here we go back to practice. That's something that we would spend time in practice doing. You know, the coach, and it wouldn't be scripted, so to speak.
No, it's
but the coach, drill. Right? So it would happen in the middle of practice several times where the coach would tell the quarterback, "Okay, don't throw the ball. Start scrambling on this play," and he starts scrambling. Now you have to respond. You have to react. And if guys didn't respond or react the right way down the field, they would stop. Okay, listen, this is what we want you to do when, he's running this way, he's running that way. We're expecting you to just act like you're going to run down the field and stop and come back, something like that. So everybody's on the same page. But they didn't have that going on as well. So it just, again, and that falls all on the shoulders of Jalen, because it looks like Jalen doesn't know what he's doing when he's holding on to the ball, trying to wait for somebody to get open, and they're not getting open. And some of it, to a certain point, just seeing what we could see from the TV, we don't have the coach's film. It looked like you said, guys stopped running. They stopped trying to get open. They stopped putting effort into the broken play. When sometimes, or a lot of times, in broken plays like that, that's when you get a big play.
Now, I just love the comment that Joseph had, and it made me think of this when I was watching our offense later in the season. Even the offensive line was not running to the line of scrimmage with any purpose anymore.
I said that.
They didn't believe in what. They didn't believe in what. And the part I was getting to, when Joseph was like, it didn't look like they were reluctant to run the plays because they didn't believe in what they were doing. And that's the same thing that happened defensively. And it's just it just had a team that didn't believe in what the coordinators was preaching.
When that slide started, I started watching that aspect of the game, where the offense would come onto the field. The only one that was jogging on the field was Jalen. Everybody else was walking on the field. When they would snap the huddle, and you know this as well as I know this, that's a whole activate kind of thing where the quarterback calls the play and everybody break. Boom, we activate. We're on the same page. We're going to do this together. One body moving for the same cause to accomplish the same goal. But they didn't have that in Tampa Bay. I watched them against Tampa. Tampa obviously wasn't playing well. They were in the playoffs, but they weren't playing well. They just kind of squeaked in. Right. They hadn't played well the 2 games prior to that, but those cats were
ready.
They were clapping their hands and running up to the line of scrimmage with purpose, with an attitude, with an energy about them. And we're walking on the field and we break the huddle and walk up to the line of scrimmage. That kind of stuff makes a difference. And that kind of stuff has to be changed starting from day one. You implement those kinds of things, and you establish those kinds of things, and you follow through on those kinds of things, because it keeps the team together. It keeps and develops a certain mentality, and certain habits are things that you need to keep going and doing, particularly when times get rough.
Yeah, you got to start the little things. You got to pay attention to the little things.
Right.
Like being on time for meetings and stuff. I used to wonder why they used to bitch and moan about being on time for meetings and checking off for meals and stuff. It's doing the little things that shows you give a damn, and then it actually translates to the field.
It's accountability. It's accountability.
Yeah. And if you're always getting fined, they're gonna keep finding you, but eventually you're gonna be out the door if you can't get right.
Can't get right. We had a whole bunch of can't get right. particularly on defense. Can't get right. Just ain't.
They're not gonna do right.
So did you see? Was there any game last week or any moment in any game last week that stuck out to you that brought pause to you or excited you? Any of the games last week?
Well, before I get to that, we have a Hats.com video coming right down the pipeline. Ralph, hit us with it.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com. Hats.com. Just in case y'all didn't know, that's my voice.
Did you? Let me see. I'm trying to think which the games was actually pretty decent this weekend.
I thought all the games except for even the Lions Buccaneers game, I thought that was going to be a blowout. I really did, but Tampa surprised me. They played decent. They played decent.
Well, the last time, they played them during the season. They only beat them 20-6. It was a dominant performance, but their offense only scored like a one really good long drive, and they had a couple of turnovers. But Baker Mayfield threw the ball a couple of times.
Right.
This time I think they had built some cohesion, and Tampa Bay did, and had won a couple of games down the stretch and was getting confident.
Right. Well, we gave them confidence. The Eagles gave them confidence.
Yeah, we gave them all the confidence. But it was funny because when you said it was like when you was talking about how they were coming out the huddle. If the Eagles was coming out the huddle like that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm about to kick somebody's ass.
Right.
Well, I tell you, as soon as you come tiptoeing out the huddle, I was like, oh yeah, their heart ain't in it. I'm about to take somebody's lunch money.
I'll tell you what, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gave the Detroit Lions a better game than the Eagles probably would have.
Yeah, they gave them all they wanted, and it was like I didn't feel like when I was down there in Tampa Bay celebrating my birthday and whatnot, and that was the best part was the fans was down there, and it was so evident that even the fans knew. They was just like, let's just get through this crap and let's just get to the offseason so we get rid of these coaches. It was like, but that feeling I think permeated throughout not only the team and the organization, but with the fans as well, because it was more people that lived down there met us down there than people. Last time we flew a bunch of people down there.
Right.
So this time we were jam packed because everybody loves to see the Cowgirls lose. So that was my first birthday gift, and I was like, well maybe the Eagles are gonna give me a birthday gift on Monday. Wrong. So as they came out offensively and they got in that spread formation, me and about 5 other people that watched TV was like, "Oh man,
it's over." But listen, shout out to the Eagles fans, because the Eagles fans still believed, in spite of, they still had hope and believed that the Eagles were going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that wild card round. That's why they showed up, in spite of the 5-game slough or the fall off at the end of the season. They still believed, and me too. I drank the Kool-Aid. I convinced myself. It was hard to do, but I convinced myself that they're gonna win this game. Not that they're gonna get everything right, not that they're gonna fix everything that's wrong, but they're gonna play well enough to win this game.
Yeah, I thought they was gonna come out and fight because it was the playoffs and stuff, and then they came out with that spread formation, and then I saw a wide receiver screen. I was like,
same old. I was watching that Bills Chiefs game. I really thought, because the Bills do a great job of running the ball, and it's, you and I agree, and most people should agree. You got to run the ball to win, and you got to stop the run to win. Right. And they went down. I was very impressed when they went down to Miami that last game of the season. They just beat the brakes off of the Miami Dolphins running the ball. They had a drive like 80 yards, and they just ran the ball on every play. The whole time. And they were doing that in the Chiefs game, but then they did that fake punt
on their own 30.
On their own 30, man.
This is another thing too.
That was not smart. I mean, they said there was only 10 people on the field for the Chiefs, and that's what they had planned.
On their own 30. On my own 30, hell
right,
no.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't smart.
If the weather was good, it's cold as hell out there. Anybody moving fast? And not only that, for all you yahoos that was talking about something, it's already been written. It's scripted. No, that wasn't scripted. Then the Bills lost that game. The Bills dropped the dude who showed up in the skirt and the Letterman jacket, Stephon Diggs. He dropped 2 passes. He got blasted a couple of times, and his heart wasn't in it no more. I was like, and then nobody tell the Green Bay Packers to not only drop 2 passes, they dropped 3 interceptions. They hit them right in the chest. Get the hell out of here. They talking about, man, they talk about, oh, it is scripted. I was like, oh, yeah, they're really scripted for them to play crappy.
Right. Well, obviously, 10 men on the field was still too many men because they didn't execute the fake punt. They lucky they need about 8 men on the field. That's when it should have been scripted for 8 men on the field.
And I was cracking up. I was like, I saw, and then it was like, everybody starts talking about the injuries that the Buffalo Bills had. I was like, you made it to the playoffs. Damn, what you talking about there? Don't start trying to give yourself way out. You just give the other team the credit that they deserve. They came out and they were the better team that day. They came out and they did what it takes to win.
And then we saw flashbacks of Scott Norwood.
Oh God,
wide right. That's the first, and I'm sure that's what everybody thought about, particularly the Bills Mafia. That's
it was one of the dudes I felt so bad for. Dude, he was crying. He was crying like when it went wide right. The look on his face.
Tyler Bass?
Huh?
Tyler Bass?
No, not him. It was one of the fans, one of the Bills Mafia fans.
The one that was crying. Yeah, the one was crying.
He was crying uncontrollably too.
Well, he probably had flashbacks of Scott Norwood.
I don't think he's old enough to know that.
You don't think so?
I didn't think he didn't look old enough to know that. He was just blubbering.
He was snot balls, bro. He was balling. I'm like, really? It's not that serious.
They were snot cubes.
Snot cubes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was too cold for that.
And then the same thing happened. The Chiefs get the ball, they go in and they actually score, or not score, but was it Harnman? He fumbled the ball, stretching, and it fumbled it through. We saw that here. This was the second game of the season.
Yeah.
When against the Vikings here, when the ball got fumbled through the end zone and touched.
And the touchback, I was cracking up because somebody's like, "How is it a fumble anywhere else, or is yours?" He's like, and then Brian Clark explained it perfectly.
Right.
It's like when you're walking into church, you can be cussing all day long, but as soon as you cross those church doors, you on sacred ground.
Yes, sir.
No more cussing.
That's
right.
Like,
so you can
do
what you want.
Ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
End zone is sacred ground.
And a lot of people don't like that rule, and people have complained about it and even talked about having it changed. But it makes sense. You got to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, because
when you're crossing the end zone, you got to hold on to the ball. You fumble it through, it's the other team's ball. They don't get any points, but it's their ball.
No,
and that makes sense. Now, if they were saying, okay, you get points for that, now that doesn't make sense. But that's a turnover for the other team. That's great hustle. You don't give up until the ball is crossed the line of scrimmage. That was just a great defensive play. Great and a bonehead offensive play. Yeah, you're right there at the end zone. You got to secure the ball because the defense is playing in a desperate mode to try to keep you out of the end zone.
Yeah,
you got to cover that ball up, man. You got to cover that ball up.
So one of the guys just made a quality point about the 49ers game. How the 49ers kept them out of the end zone those first 2 drives and kept them in field goals, and that was pretty much the difference in the game. You got to score touchdowns when you get down there.
Right.
So,
I wasn't happy with what the 49ers did, and trying to kick that field goal at the end of the first half. They let 4 minutes run off the clock. They got the ball back. Yeah. They were up 7-6, and they got the ball back, and they were really non-energetic and not in a hurry to get down the field and score. They were planning actually just to get a field goal rather than trying to figure
out what's up with Deebo Samuels.
Right.
That's the hardest goal of their team. So,
but they could have gone down, at least got closer. Now they're trying to kick a 48-yard field goal in the torrential downpour, and the ball got blocked. Yeah. They ended up with nothing.
Yeah.
So I thought that series of play calling really was not very smart because they, like I said, they had the ball with, I think it was 4 minutes and 9 seconds left, and they let 4 minutes run off, and they went. They was 11. It took them 11 plays to go 45 yards.
Yeah, and it was too conservative. It was like you playing not to
lose. Yeah,
instead of attack.
Playing it safe. You got to go for it, man. It's the playoffs. It's do or die. It's win or go home.
Yeah, but
So hopefully Shanahan doesn't do anything like that in this game. So what you think about these 2 games this weekend? because the winners are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. If we believe what everybody's pontificating, they say it's the 49ers and the Ravens. I think the Ravens are gonna handle business, but I wouldn't count Detroit out. Detroit's never been, and I kind of feel like they're on a bit of a mission.
The Lions, because they're there. They're knocking at the door. They've never won a Super Bowl. So this is their opportunity. And if they're smart, and if they're listening to, or have watched the history or know anything about the history of the NFL, you may not get there again. So this is their opportunity. There's some interesting statistics though, that I wrote down today. Can I tell them to you?
Sure.
So Brock Purdy, when Brock Purdy starts, because Debo Samuel, we don't know if he's playing or not. It's a shoulder. It's a shoulder.
He practiced half. Yes, he has a. Okay, so the injury is a crack in the shoulder. They don't play with that because if that that shatters, now that bone is coming out is detrimental.
Yeah. So if he's got a cracked bone up there, he ain't playing.
Yeah, but he practiced a little bit limitedly Wednesday.
But he wasn't hitting nobody.
I know this.
Running and hitting is two different things, bro.
I know.
And we know how Debo plays. Debo's not he's a Debo.
He plays with reckless abandonment. And that's
he's
why
the epitome of his name, Debo.
Yeah, Debo.
Debo. When Brock Purdy starts, the 13 starts he's had with a healthy Debo, the 49ers are 12-1. They average 32.3 points per game. Purdy has a completion rate of 71.1%, and the touchdown to interception ratio is 28 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Now, the 4 games Purdy started when Debo played 10 snaps or fewer, the 49ers went 1-3. And the one win they had was over the Packers. Okay. And when Debo's not playing or plays 10 snaps or less, Purdy has a 18.8 points per game, and Purdy has a 61.4 rating of completion. And the touchdown to interception ratio is 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions.
So
Debo is a real factor.
Yes,
he plays a real factor. And I've heard some people say that if Debo's not playing, not sure they're going to be able to beat. Yes, Christian McCaffrey is a bad dude, leading rusher, first team All-Pro, but there's only so much. And we saw that last week. There's only so much he can do.
George Kittle, and I think Jennings and Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk. I think they're going to show up, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
It's going to be enough. But let me give you this now. The 49ers defense is second most in pressures in the NFL this year. The second most in pressures.
Well,
now, the
two teams right behind Texans.
Yep. The two teams that the Lions defeated in the postseason, one ranked 15th in pressure, the other one ranked 19th in quarterback pressure. So the difference in Jared Goff's passer rating when he's pressured or not pressured has the largest drop off of any quarterback in the NFL. So when he's pressured or not pressured, he has a 116.8 rating when he's not pressured, but it drops down to a 62.2% passer rating when he is pressured.
Okay.
So this game may boil down to what the 49ers can do with their defensive line and put some pressure on, because he's not good. He's not that good. It's a big drop off, the biggest drop off of any quarterback in the league when he's pressured.
But they got a nice 1-2 punch and running back.
Yes, sir.
To slow that pressure down. And that's it. That's I think the difference is. I don't know if you had that stat in there when the team has a quality running game, because they gave up 100. They gave up 100 yards.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like you want to look at that as well. When they almost lost too. If it almost doesn't really count, they end up pulling it out. But if it's a bust,
why? You talking about the 49ers?
49ers playing when they playing Green Bay.
Purdy was able to pull off a game-winning drive.
Yeah, that's why I said the Green Bay, they dropped 3 picks.
Yeah. He played very average for the entire game until the last drive, and he went down.
And it wasn't because of him. It was because of what the plays number 15 made, and Brandon Ayuk and number 84 as well. Down the stretch, they made some tremendous catches, and and did what you're supposed to do. They pulled their weight. They played better because Debo wasn't there to make those plays.
So you think the Lions are going to pull this off?
I think the Lions are going to pull it off.
That's
I
interesting,
think they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL currently. They have Montgomery and the young kid from Alabama at running back. They have those and both of those are home run hitters and different makers. So, then you have their receiving core is one of the more diverse receiving cores. They have speed. They have St.
Brown.
Yes. And then they just picked up Zach Ertz.
They just signed Zach Ertz. They sure did. And I bet you by golly why he gonna play.
Yeah, he's gonna play. And I think that the thing that you have to look at too is I think it's gonna be a tremendous game though, because the defense coordinator, I love the defense coordinator for the 49ers, Wilkes, because he should be a head coach. He only got one opportunity for half the season. And then the young Bob Johnson, the offense coordinator for the Lions. I think it's going to be a quality contest.
Right. Well, I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff.
The funny part too, if it's close, I would Joseph down there at the Bob Joseph comments. He said, "I'd be shocked. I want Detroit to win, but the NFL they want San Francisco and Baltimore." It's like so.
Well, yeah, that's what the NFL wants.
Yeah, if it's
so
close,
so you think there's going to be some flags thrown?
nitpicking
flags thrown.
And to Joseph, just ran this into my mind. The guy who's one of the officials is one who picked up a bunch of flags that was for Detroit, and and basically shit canned him. And I was like, come on, dude. I was like, he's like, he has the most flag pickups of any official in the NFL currently.
Right. Well, he throws a flag and they find out that it's not what he thought it was. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, no, and then one night he reset it. It's like, oh no, this is it's my handkerchief. I guess.
My bad. It wasn't what I thought it was. So you picked the Lions. You know what? I would like to, like I said, I'm not a fan of Jared Goff, but I would like to see the Lions win as well. So somebody else, somebody different could be in there. I think it would be great for their organization. Yeah. Great for Detroit. They've never won a Super Bowl before. It would be great for them to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it would be great for them to get there because it's a great story. And they really have worked hard. They've fought through some adversity. Didn't look very good at certain points during the season, but here they are. They played well. They showed up when it counted the most, and they deserve to be where they are right now, playing for the NFC Championship. What about Chiefs Ravens? And you got to get your read in, and we got to get some history from you. But what about Chiefs and the Ravens? What's your pick for the Chiefs and the Ravens?
I got the Ravens. I said it was going to be the Ravens and the Lions. I think the Ravens are on the mission this year. Yeah, they got. It's like I think they got a really good offensive coordinator, and he knows how to get the best out of Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And then now he's got some weapons, and Mark Andrews is coming back. And then their defense is they got their defense playing out
number one defense.
The guy who we should have interviewed for the defense coordinator, Denard Wilson, is currently coaching their DBs.
Right,
they're number one.
He was here last year.
And who was number one versus the pass last year?
Number one versus the pass last year was the Eagles going into the Super Bowl. Guess who's number one versus the pass this year? It's the Ravens. And guess who the Ravens defensive backs coach is?
Denard Wilson.
Hello.
Yes.
So what we're saying to everybody is coaching does make a difference.
Big time.
Coaching does make a difference. I want the Ravens to win. I'm tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes. He's great. Don't get me wrong. But I really want Lamar Jackson, just like I did with Jalen Hurts, to shut up the naysayers. Lamar has had, when he came to the league, he set everything on fire. Defensive coordinators kind of got together and figured out how to stop him. So he kind of was a little ineffective there for a minute. But now he's turned into not just a runner, but he's an effective passer. Your greatest quarterbacks of all time, you look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't running nowhere. When you look at Peyton Manning wasn't running anywhere. You got to be able to pass the ball. And that's the big step that Lamar Jackson has made this year. He can pass that ball.
Joe Montana can pass.
Joe Montana can pass, but he wasn't he wasn't a runner like Lamar.
I know he wasn't.
And he wasn't an instinctive runner. Lamar, Jalen Hurts, guys like that instinctively take off and run because that's how they played all their lives. They have to be taught and coached how to read defenses and go through the progressions and step up in the pocket and hang in there during the blitz and not just take off running. That takes coaching. It takes developing. And Lamar Jackson has gotten to that point. That's why he's going to be the MVP this year. That's why the Ravens are playing for the AFC Championship, and that's why they're going to win and go all the way to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. I want the Ravens to win because I want Lamar Jackson to shut up all the naysayers.
Yeah. Now, this day in history is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com and pick a trip out. We're still doing stuff for the Flyers. Actually, I have a game this week with the Flyers with Philly Sports Trips. We also doing the Stadium Series. Go to phillysportstrips.com and tell it. And when it asks you how did you hear about it, tell them you heard it from A2D Radio. You heard it from the Tank. Today is January the 25th, 2024. Today's national holidays is Clashing Clothes Day. That means you can wear all types of weird crap.
You should have told me, man. I would have put some clashing stuff on. You should have told me.
It's Fish Taco Day.
Wait a minute. You go ahead and talk. Go ahead, put him on, Ralph. I'm gonna go get my clashing coat.
We have Fish Taco Day. We also have Irish Coffee Day. It's opposite day. I learned that on SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, I got going to some of the events here. Started back in 1825, the very first United States Engineering College opened up in Troy, New York. Then the future song of "Here Comes the Bride," the wedding march down the aisle. It was played for the first time at Queen Victoria's daughter Princess Victoria, as she was marrying the Crown Prince of Persia. Now, I've seen her picture and the prince and the Crown Prince picture. Oh God.
My mama bought me this coat for Christmas, man. I love my mama.
I see.
It's Clashing Clothes Day. Come on, man.
Yes,
I got my clashing stuff on.
Yeah, so that in 1870, the very first soda fountain was patented by Gustavus Down. In 1890, the National Afro-American League was founded in Chicago by Timothy Thomas Fortune. It was one of the first civil rights movement organizations in America. Then they had the 1950 was the very first transcontinental telephone service was inaugurated, so you could call from New York to San Francisco.
All right.
In 1924, the very first Winter Olympics was held in France. Then we have. In 1945, we had the Grand Rapids, Michigan was the very first United States city to put fluoride in their water.
Wow.
Yeah, 1959, the very first transcontinental jet flight on American Airlines from LA to New York. Guess how much it cost? $301.
Really?
Back then, yeah, so it was pretty good.
That's a lot back then, yeah.
And now in 1960, Will Chamberlain, he scores 58 points for the Philadelphia Warriors as they beat the Pistons 127-117. And I was a witness to Joel Embiid scoring 70.
Were you there? Were you there?
Yes, I was there. It was awesome.
Nice.
1974, we have Ray Kroenke buys the San Diego Padres for $12 million.
Wow.
This is a bad one. 1981 Super Bowl 15. The Eagles losing to the Raiders 27-10. Just like it was MVP.
Why you want to bring up old stuff, man?
I don't know. 1988 on CBS Evening News with Dan Rather, he almost came to blows with just Vice President George W. Bush because he was trying to find out what his involvement in the Iran-Contra scandal was.
They almost fought on TV.
It was a heated exchange. It was like, so that was a kid too, and I was like, oh, I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Right.
I got some more here. These are some funny ones for you. The next one, 1993. On this day will live in infamy for all young lads of teenage descent who used to use the Sears catalog because they closed the catalog department after being in business for 97 years. And I know if you're a young lad like myself, you used to use the young ladies' underwear section and for your own personal pleasure. In 1994. Wow. In 1994, 1994, on this day, Song of the Year was Bump and Grind by R. Kelly. It was released on this day in 1994.
Yeah, with a little bump and grind.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
I got some birthdays here. Wrong Way Ella, 1942, Carl Ella's birthday today. 1953, the Honky Tonk Man, the wrestler, his birthday today. 1957, actress, one of my favorite actresses from St. Louis, Missouri, Jennifer Lewis. She's the mom on Blackish. She's
I know you're talking about Jennifer Lewis. I saw Jennifer Lewis do a live show, man. I was in California with one of the Winans brothers, BB Winans, and we went to see Jennifer Lewis. I saw her live. She did a one-woman show live. She was awesome. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
We got 1975. We got Tim Montgomery. 1981, Alicia Keys. And there's one last one that everybody's pining about right now. Everybody's pining about the Oscar nominations. But in 1949, on this very day, the very first Emmy Awards presentation in the United States was had in Hollywood at the Hollywood Athletic Club, the very first Emmy Awards. I have a couple of those from when I hosted Inside the Eagles. I was nominated for 22. I won 12. Boom.
I got an Emmy too, man. I got an Emmy.
You didn't hear what I said. I was nominated for 22 and I got 12.
That's all right. I got one. I got an Emmy. I got one too. You ain't in the club by yourself. Remember, I used to do I know the slant on Sunday.
Yes,
when I was playing, I got an Emmy for that, man. I got an Emmy for that.
I won about 12 because I was doing the show for about 5 or 6 years, and we used to do the on location stuff. And then there was one episode that we had that we won an Emmy for. There was my brother Pops, if he's watching. We went go-kart racing at Mario Andretti's go-kart track in Houston, Texas, when I first moved to Houston, and he crashed.
That's good TV. Yeah, that's good TV.
But when he crashed, later on that night, he was like, "Oh man, I got whiplash." The cars were going about 40, 50 miles per hour.
Wow.
Go-karts. It was great though, dude. But it was funny because they had us both mic'd up, and I was, when you doing the Mario Andretti thing, you had to get pole position.
Right.
But it's like, so he won lead. So the whole time I'm trying to get by him. Yeah. When he crashed, all you heard was me laughing like the whole time
and driving by him. Yeah,
driving by him, and I never relinquished the lead. But it was funny as hell though, dude. We used to have a great time. Still do.
Well, that's it, y'all. It's clashing. It's clashing clothes day.
Yeah,
I'm apropos today.
You tell your mama you wore what she gave you because
I'm gonna do a post on Instagram.
Yeah. Only reason you gonna do it because she probably been asking you when you gonna wear that thing.
No. She don't ask. She buys me stuff every year that doesn't necessarily get worn. But I'm gonna wear this, man. I actually like this coat. It's pretty cool.
No, you only put it on because I said it was classic.
No. I already had intentions to do a little photo shoot.
And there was some stuff like that on the picture too when they
In what picture? The catalog?
That was on the. So it's like when I look up.
On the picture for the classic clothes day. Yeah, that's why I got it. I figured as much. Yeah. It's colorful.
But yeah.
Well, listen, we'll see you all next week, same time here on Thursday, 5 p.m. A2D Radio. This is Vetted. Irving Fryar, that's me. Big Dog Hollis Thomas, that's my dude over there. We'll find out who's going to the Super Bowl next year or next week. Next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. No, 2 weeks.
No, we'll find out who's going to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
We'll find out after this week who's going to be in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Y'all know what we mean.
We got it right. See y'all next week.